Or does anybody have questions for either one of these gentlemen? Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask Mr. Nelson why he's running. Why would you want to run?
Because I think we could do better as a county courthouse. I'm a citizen just like you and me. I don't like to see my taxes raised. I believe I've got a unique skill set that I think I can be a benefit and help. It's an opportunity, frankly, to serve. It really interests me. Like I said, the facts and attorney, the judicial responsibilities interest me. I've been on the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. We have a huge need for someone with some experience and oversight with regard to the new jail. We have ongoing jail problems and the cost and expenses of housing our prisoners, our inmates elsewhere. And hopefully we will open a new jail at some point in time before we pay so much money out that we'll have to raise taxes again. But it's an opportunity that I really enjoy and we look forward to.
Would you like to respond to that, Ted?
I agree with you.
I'd like to ask one question.
Just curious.
Does your expertise mean that had you warned us ahead of time, we might not have had some of these problems?
Warned us about what tax
Some of the
increases?
problems, no, some of the problems that we're having as far as the jail completion. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, here he asks, is my expertise,
In other words, as a private citizen, in your position, could you have maybe focused us in the past, on doing this? Part of it is you don't have to wait until you're in office, to be an assistant to any of these people that are elected to office. And I see that all the time, lots of people that have expertise, and it sounds like you were very qualified along that line, and if you might have been able to keep us from getting our ox in the ditch.
well, let me tell you, Gary, I served 2 terms on city council, and I lowered taxes when I was on the city council. I did what I could within that governing body. With regard to the jail, I served on the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, and certainly we were involved at that point in time in the early 90s where we had a jail that was too small, and we were also holding paper-ready inmates that should be in the penitentiary. The state was paying us money at that point in time to house those inmates. Certainly I served in that responsibility. I got to know what goes on in county jails. As far as I'm concerned, every time I go to either a Republican Executive Committee meeting, which I've served on since 1982, most of those years, or in any particular formal setting that deals with law enforcement, I make my 2 cents known. I would also like to say that I don't know, and you don't know, all the problems that are attendant to the lack of completion of the jail. If I knew everything, perhaps I would be able to add more than a couple of cents. But the key thing is, I'm willing to do it now. I'm willing to step up and serve. I think that's an opportunity that I look at as an opportunity to serve and do some good.
Judge Head, I have a question for you. There was rumor that you were not going to run again, and Cedro had stepped up to run against for your position. And now that Cedro has changed filings and you're running again, can you explain why that is?
Why I'm running again?
Yes, sir.
You're right. In fact, I told David, my wife and I took 2 weeks to go up to Colorado, and I don't know what y'all's theological background is, but we go to Church on the Rock, and our theology, we can't divorce our theology from ourselves, who we are. And so we were going to go up there. The last 2 years, 3 years, we've really been in a lot of stress. We struggled with some problems, and so we were going to go up there. Now, we took 2 weeks, one to go to a retreat for pastors. My wife is a preschool pastor at our church, and one for about 5 days to go visit some friends. Well, we were going to go up there specifically to pray and see, do I want to retire? Do we want to go on? Do we want to do something else? What does God want us to do? And so we went up there to that retreat, and it was wonderful, by the way. That was the first time, by the way, since prior to December of '92 that we have had 2 weeks together away. So I didn't really feel real bad about it. But we went up there specifically to pray and see what we were supposed to do. We came back after that, and we came back on a Friday. We drove from Longmont, which is up north of Boulder, down to Lubbock, and it was a long trip. We got here at 12:30 or so in the morning, and I had still decided that I was going to retire. In fact, before David came in and said, "What are you going to do?" and I said, "I'm about 95, 98% sure I'm going to retire." And he said, well, I'm gonna run. I said, great, because I'll probably retire. I expected to. And then, let's see, that was Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, things started happening. I suspect in answer to our prayers that I didn't expect it, I didn't anticipate it, and doors just seemed to open. You know, like, okay, well, if this happens and this happens and this, and I'm gonna run, well, it did. And I didn't expect them. And so I think I'm supposed to run. I have a piece about running this time that I haven't had before. I'm probably more at ease this campaign than I have ever been, and I started in 1990. And so that's why I changed my mind, because things started happening on Saturday and Sunday, and I thought, I'm gonna go. So.
Yes, Keith, here you go.
If my memory serves me right, I remember maybe more than one time when the commissioners wanted a salary raise and you did not accept the salary raise. Is that right?
Well, when I told them I didn't want to raise, they would do it anyway, because, you know, there's 4 of them. This year, I lowered my salary for $10,000. If 40% of your time is in judicial stuff, you can fill out an affidavit and get, prior to, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I can't remember, you would get a $10,000 supplement from the state. Okay, I didn't take that. I think I took it the first year because I didn't understand what that affidavit was, and I filled it out and sent it in. But then after that, I refused to do that. But they would keep raising salaries because the commissioners think, well, we got to have large salaries so that good people can run for county judge, so we can attract good people. Okay, but this year I said, you know, I'm going to lower my salary. It was 75, and it went up to 85, and then on top of that was the state thing. Okay. And so I said, this year I want my salary reduced from 85 to 75. Now I did fill out the state supplement because it went from $10,000 a year to $15,000 a year. Okay, and I thought, well, okay, if I can reduce it on this end, I can get the state supplement and get about the same. So yes, I reduced my salary $10,000 this year.
How many times over the years have you done that?
How many times have I refused the state?
No,
That you've decreased your salary?
That I decreased it? This is just the first time.
but you've asked for it.
I've asked for it to be decreased, and yeah, they would. The commissioners would.
Mr. Nelson,
Commissioners are so important.
absolutely.
Judge Head, exactly what is the problem over at the jail? What is the holdup on it?
Okay, we hired Yates and Company, and I think their headquarters in Louisiana, but they've got offices in Texas. Wonderful people who work there, wonderful. But they had a subcontractor who is responsible for the fire alarms and the security systems, okay, who would not put in the systems according to our specs. Why? I don't have a clue. They just refused to do it. Well, we called Yates, and Yates called them, and then they finally called the bond, and they called the insurance companies, and we finally got their attention, but I don't think they're even doing it anymore. They have actually a different contractor. The fire systems will be done the end of this month, completely done, and the security systems should be done in probably the middle of March, so that substantial completion should be done by the end of March, and we will be moving prisoners by June and July, unless something happens. Okay, but it was specifically one contractor that did the fire alarms and the sprinklers and the security.
Does anybody